This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
It's time for Wyoming Sports Talk today on KRAE. Here are your hosts, Nick and Larry Proetti.
Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk today. Larry Proetti along with Nick Proetti. As the guy mentioned, it is time to get the show on the road. Brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne, South Greeley Highway, KRAE Avenue, Yellowstone Road, corner of Delrange and Delrange and Ridge and Pershing and Ridge. All your Taco John's locations where they're serving up those delicious fish tacos once again, especially during the Lenten season. How about Key of Cheyenne over on Nation Way, where the lot is filled with 2020s? As a matter of fact, I was behind a gentleman who had a 2020 Sorrento, and I'll tell you what, looking pretty fine behind that wheel today. Check out all that AJ has for you and the crew over at Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank ×2 saw my good friend, President Rick Flood, over on Vanderhyde today. And again, too, you can always do your business on the east side at the corner of College and Pershing. Platte Valley Bank offering all of the service you come to expect. Again, even into the high technology world of today. That's your friends at Platte Valley Bank. Chick-fil-A, Windmill and Delrange, right there on Windmill and Delrange across from Powers Field, and Menards, again, open Monday through Saturday, serving up 3 delicious squares. And check out their delicious mac and cheese, which now looks like it's going to be a fixture for a long, long time over at Chick-fil-A. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs over on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Again, use the convenient drive-thru or do like I do, always shop inside Monday through Saturday. B&B Appliance and TV at 714 Central Avenue, where they service what they sell. And, of course, at B&B Appliance and TV, with appliances that you need for the kitchen or even the laundry room. They have Whirlpool. They have Maytag, Frigidaire, GE, all waiting for you. And Bruce always is willing to make you a great deal at B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Lennox Auto Body over on Dunn Avenue, again, taking care of those vehicles and making them almost look showroom new. And again, the Auto Glass and Detail Center, where it's not clean until it's Lennox clean, over on Pershing Boulevard, both part of Lennox Enterprises. First Tier Bank, open Monday through Friday, 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Tim and the crew invite you to come on by, check out their CD rates first. You're going to be very impressed. And we also want to thank Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Joe flipping up the pies for his beginning his 5th decade right now in business. And Joe and the crew over there invite you to come on by, taste their delicious pizza, ranked in the top 10 in the nation by the Food Network folks. Again, always fresh, always delicious. And other goodies like calzone, strombolis, their sandwiches, always on fresh baked bread. It's so good eating all the time, Monday through Sunday. They're open Sundays noon till 8. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. And at Scoreboard Time, brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
Reminding folks, coming up tomorrow here on 1480 KRAE, 101.1 F and 1480KRAE.com is where you can only hear the contest. Again, no video live stream for high school action, as it will be Cheyenne East versus Cheyenne Central over at Story Gymnasium. Chris Polton by himself with the call, as it will be boys and girls action there live from Story coming up at 5:30. Girls up first, boys up second around 7 o'clock. Tentative start time for that. So, again, tune in on the radio side for high school action, as it is the end of the regular season coming up tomorrow night, East versus Central. Saturday's contest, where we will be on the road. Friday afternoon, we'll head up to Sheridan to see some first-round playoff action on the women's side with LCCC Lady Golden Eagles. They'll be up at Sheridan College taking on the Lady Generals. Sheridan, the number at least 4 seed in the North. LCCC, the number 5 seed. That game happening this Saturday. 2 o'clock is the tip-off time, 1:40-ish pregame show, which, again, we will have at least, hopefully, fingers crossed on the radio side. Minimum, at least for LCCC, we'll have it on the visual side. Periscope via Twitter and also through the 1480 KRAE YouTube channel. NHL action for tonight. Montreal Canadiens at home. They will host the New York Rangers. Chicago Blackhawks, they'll travel out to Tampa Bay to see the Lightning. Florida Panthers at home. They will take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Dallas Stars will go to the TD Garden to see the Boston Bruins tonight. That game will be on the NBC Sports Network. Ottawa Senators at home. They will take on the Vancouver Canucks in Little Caesars Arena. Detroit Red Wings will host the Minnesota Wild. St. Louis Blues at home. They will take on the New York Islanders. And Smashville and Nashville at Bridgestone Arena. The Preds will take on the Calgary Flames. Winnipeg Jets at home, they will host the Washington Capitals. And last but not least, the New Jersey Devils will travel out to the Shark Tank and San Jose, California to see the San Jose Sharks. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
4 games on the NBA schedule. 76ers will host the Knicks tonight. Trailblazers will be entertained by the Pacers at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Kings and the Thunder at the Chesapeake Energy Arena in OKC. And the Golden State Warriors at the Chase Center. They will have a date with the front-running Los Angeles Lakers. Scoreboard this afternoon, brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
All right, if you're a gamer, you know the world of gaming is full of amazing gear. Portable cannons, flying...
Is lumber one in Cheyenne? Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need.
Since 1966, family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company has been the stop for all lumber, paint, tools, accessories, remodel and do-it-yourself projects, and so much more. Now, Capital Lumber Company announces the beginning of a tasty relationship with Traeger grills, as they now have in stock several models of Traeger grills, along with pellets and accessories. Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
Did you know B&B Appliance and TV has a local warehouse where they stock a variety of appliances in a wide range of colors and finishes, including black and white? Their friendly staff realizes that one look isn't for everyone, and appliance shopping isn't always convenient. B&B Appliance offers free in-town delivery and disposal of your old appliances. They'll be there for you after the sale too, because they always service what they sell. B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Best brands, hometown service.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 41 and winds out of the northwest at 20 to 25 miles per hour. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 25. On Friday, it'll be sunny with highs around 50, and on Friday night, it'll be clear skies with lows around 29.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480.
It's time to kick off our program. It is Wyoming Sports Talk today for Thursday. LCCC Coaches Show Day today, as we will have Jason Ficca in at 4 o'clock, followed up by Brian Ortmeier at 4:30. Both teams getting ready for postseason play. The Golden Eagles will be in Casper, as we talked to Coach Gutting yesterday. They will face the Thunderbirds at Sweet Erickson Gymnasium. Nick mentioned earlier we'll be in the Bruce Hoffman Golden Dome coming up Saturday afternoon. With us on the telephone right now, we get a chance to talk, I guess a few things with our high school voice, that being Chris Polton. And I guess first and foremost, Chris, thanks for joining us today. I know you've been busy, and obviously you're ramping up for East Central 2 tomorrow over at Story Gym.
Yeah, I got a lot of nice warm tea with some honey, getting the vocal cords ready for the gauntlet.
Yeah, I can relate to that. It's been busy on our side of the fence as well. All right, so, and Nick, you could chime in on this as well. You were there for East Central 1, East Central 2. Believe it or not, things have changed quite considerably, especially for the Central Lady Indians as of late, but everything's been going according to Hoyle for Cheyenne East, and that's both girls and boys, Chris and Nick. So your thoughts on tomorrow's games?
Well, I think the girls' game is going to be the more important of the two because that's for seeding purposes. If whoever wins that will be the number one team in the quad, which is a big deal because you get to face Sheridan in that first round. In that other quadrant, there's a significant jump between Natrona and Sheridan. Natrona has the two bigs, and Alicia Lane and Kate Robertson, and they can pose problems. So if you can hold off seeing them in the first round and have a chance to see them in the second round, or Campbell County, you'll take that because anytime it comes to March, you want the easiest opponent possible, especially the way the regional tournament works now, where it's not just one game. You have to win 2 games now, no matter what seed you are.
Well, and again, for whoever gets that number one seeding here in at least in this quadrant and also too in this conference on the East, again, it is not a guarantee that you're making it to state, as you mentioned, Chris. Again, you got to win or at least avoid that 2 losses in the regional tournament. Again, as that's happening next weekend up in Thunder Basin, which again we saw up there of how difficult it is to win up there, let alone just kind of Gillette in general. But we look at this final regular season matchup happening in that story where the first game was kind of a toss-up where you thought that East girls could get it done. Central boys should have at least, and they did. They did cruise to that victory in that first matchup. But right now, on both girls and boys side, it's almost kind of a flip of a coin once again where, how East is trending upwards and they're building a lot of momentum. Central kind of taking a bit of steps backwards, especially with the loss this past weekend against Cheyenne South. But you look at the girls, that's evenly matched up. Either team could win. On the boys, especially with East of how they've been trending and figuring out things, and again with McCord of what he's been doing, kind of amping up his game, that also too kind of a flip of the coin of where that both games could be very close.
Well, and with the girls first, with Central, they're dealing with a little bit of health issues. Jordan Jones did not start against South. She came off the bench. Delbridge did not play either game last week. And if Bailey Delbridge can't go again this week against East, that could be a really big problem. She was their leading scorer when they played East, and she's one of their main ball handlers against a team that loves to pressure the ball full court. And if Central doesn't have her this week, or even say for regional or state, Central, the Lady Indians could be in a little problem needing someone to fill that role. And then as far as the boys go, I was looking at it today when I was prepping for tomorrow. Central is averaging on this current streak they're on since they lost to Scottsbluff. Their average victory is 24.5 points. So what is going to happen to Central if East can keep it close? Because the one close game Central's been this year, they lost, and that was in Scottsbluff, I believe, a double overtime game, triple overtime game. And for East is, can they keep it close? Can they make it a game in the fourth quarter? Because for right now, Central, by the time it's come to the fourth quarter, they've been able to, roll in their back line into the game and cruise to the end.
It's interesting talking about the Central boys, and we'll go first with them. And I've called a lot of high school basketball in my years here, and I even think back, Nick, to I think it was your junior year when James Johnson and that crew won the state championship. I don't think I've ever seen a more complete basketball outfit than the Central boys. And again, you're looking at, you can't concentrate on Lovering, you can't concentrate on Storbo, you can't concentrate on Talich, Stamfley, and then you got Cates coming off the bench. You got LeBalmont coming off the bench. I mean, it gets tougher and tougher for any team to defend the Central Indians. The only way the Central Indians lose if they beat themselves.
Right, and I think you're right. I mean, to this point, at the beginning of the year, you saw a rotation of 8, and I think Tag is starting to rotate now 10 guys that he trusts in. Jackson Whitworth has been working in a little bit more. Kate Burns is starting to see a lot of time. And Kate Burns is even more length. I think he's 6'5", 6'6". The thing that's so impressive about this team is not just their length, it's their versatility. You got Brady Storbo that can knock it for people. When given the opportunity, he can knock down the three-pointer. So it's not like you can just pack it in on this team or pack it in and try to stop them in the paint because they'll burn you outside. And Ryan Stanley may be the best game manager of any point guard in the state because what he doesn't do is over. He sets up the offense, super patient. They push when they need to, but if it's not there, they set. And when you have a 7-footer really do for setting.
All right, Chris, what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to kind of hold steady where you're at because you're popping in and out on us here. So we want to make sure we don't lose you here. And then again, too, like you mentioned with Burns and Lobatos, too. And Lobatos, if he ever is needed, and I don't think he's really needed offensively. He's more out there on his defensive side. And, again, he's a great, especially when they're in that man-on-man defense. But, I'm going to flip it over to Cheyenne East. Now, a team like the Thunderbirds, they're very consistent. As you mentioned, Nick, the McCord twins. You look at Chance Aumiller. You look at Buell, Jake Rail. I mean, this is a team that is playing well together. The only thing is there's nobody there that really can, converge down on Lawson Lovering. You can double team Lovering, but you're still going to have about a 7-8 inch difference. And, really, if I'm a betting man, I go to the pay window and I say Central tomorrow.
And I think if someone's able to beat him, especially in the state, I think that's a safe bet to go with. Now, one thing with East is they're probably playing their best basketball they've played all year. This is not the same team that we saw January 31st go against Central, and I think a lot of that is headlined by Xavier McCord. And he's going out there. He's scoring 20-plus points tonight. He's pulling down 8 to 10 rebounds tonight. And with Xavier, if he can at least show some type of presence down low on offense, can open it up for Graydon, for Rail, for Aumiller, and hopefully get their shooters going. And then on defense, I don't know what you do. There's no great defense against a 7-footer. Do you front them and try to hope that you can, force somebody to try to lob it to and get backside defensive help? I don't know if that's going to work because you would think if it would have worked, somebody would have done it already.
So for Cheyenne East, though, tomorrow, where, again, I've kind of established that Cheyenne Central should run the table here in the state of Wyoming, and that includes regular season and postseason. I think they are that darling team, and Pops across the way agrees that they are kind of that, perfect team, or at least that team that is kind of destined for that opportunity this season. But if Cheyenne East wants to be that team that upsets, or at least hands Central that first Wyoming State loss coming up tomorrow night there at Story Gymnasium, what needs to be done for Cheyenne East? What do they need to focus on? Is it a scenario that for Cheyenne East they need to focus all efforts on Lawson Lovering that does get into foul difficulty? Again, we saw that a few times. What, in your opinion, does Cheyenne East need to do to get the victory?
Well, Lawson loves to block shots. He averages almost 2 blocks a game. Granted, a lot of times he doesn't even have to jump to block the shot, but you need to attack him on defense. You need to find a way to get around the ball defenders, which, Stanley, Lobatos, Talich, they're so good on ball defending that it makes it really tough. But you need to find a way to attack the gaps and go into the body of Lovering and force the officials to make a call one way or the other. Because the best way that you're going to be able to beat Central is get Lovering off the floor because it opens so much more on offense. Now, they are a complete team in Central, but if Lawson's not on the floor, it makes it a little bit easier to get to the hoop and finish.
Yeah, but I agree, disagree, though, too. And I'll say this because I think LeBeaumont is playing at the top of his game right now. I think Brock Storbo, if there is a most improved player, from day one that I saw him play all the way up until the last time I caught him up at Thunder Basin, I seen him take his game to the next level. Burns, as we saw him, Kate Burns, he's going to be another up-and-comer. I disagree with Lovering down off the floor. Even when we saw it too, Nick, at Thunder Basin, Central didn't miss a beat at all.
Well, and so that's the thing with Central, right? They're so deep that you really it's a step. As you said, Larry, it's not really that big of a step down. I just think that's how someone's going to get them. Someone's going to get them by getting Lovering out of there at some point. Because the one nice thing is as good as LeBeaumont and Burns and Brock Storbo have been, on the offensive side, they're not Lawson Lovering. I mean, Lawson, when he catches the ball in the paint, just forget about it. He's going to score. Whereas with Brock and LeBeaumont, we've seen him, at least against East the first time, he missed those bunnies here and there, and he doesn't like the contact quite as much as Lovering does. I just think until someone's able to match the physicality of Central, no one's going to beat them. And so for East, they have to match the physicality.
All right, we're going to keep you on the line. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to come right back. We'll also spotlight the ladies' side right after this timeout right here on 1480 KRAE.
Every day we have the opportunity to lead by example. In delivering reliable
there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY, and that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures, makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proetti at 307-637-0301.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Join Cheyenne Regional Medical Center for the Innovations in Critical Care Nursing Conference on April 16th from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Laramie County Community College. This conference is for you if you want to network with other critical care nurses and learn best practices for a variety of critical care conditions. Register today at cheyenneregional.org/innovations or call 307-996-4736.
Hi, I'm Tristan Johnson, mortgage lender at Platte Valley Bank. A home is more than where you live. It's where you make a life. At Platte Valley Bank, we have tailored home loan products paired with great rates and friendly people so you can focus on making memories, not paperwork. I will work with you every step of the way to find the mortgage product that is right for you. Stop by Platte Valley Bank at 3310 North College Drive in Cheyenne or visit www.pvbank.com to get started today.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We're back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today, previewing East Central for tomorrow evening. We gave you the nightcap in the opener, and again, big crowd expected once again for East Central 2 as when these two teams get together. As a matter of fact, we had Jerry Slabs in yesterday, East Athletic Director. He's been on the coaching side of it, AD side, and a player, so he knows all about the excitement at Story Gym. So let's move on to the ladies' side. We got one team moving in that, since that earlier loss, they've been moving in that positive direction. They had one stumble at Thunder Basin, which I don't think anybody's going to fault them. I think the Lady Bolts probably are the team to beat. But the Cheyenne Central Indians, as you mentioned, Chris, again going through a couple of bumps, bruises, maybe some sickness, just haven't been the same. And, again, 2 losses at Thunder Basin. I just thought they didn't need to be on the same floor with Thunder Basin. They were just not that good that night. And then, again, the loss most recently to Cheyenne South, team that's kind of trending downward. So it kind of takes away a little bit from this contest. I'm sure they'll be amped up for it, but I think the Lady Thunderbirds are moving in the right direction right now.
Well, and I agree. I think nobody, at least in town here, is playing better basketball on the girls' side than East. I think Thunder Basin, the Central loss was a wake-up call to them, and then I think they got a kind of another wake-up call going up against Thunder Basin at Gillette. But they looked like a team that was really starting to figure things out and figure their tempo out. And maybe Westling's starting to figure out maybe some different types of rotations as well, because they looked really good against South when we had them last week. You're starting to see Bowdoin Little Hall start to play a little bit of a bigger role as well, and I think her and Kai out on the floor at the same time is really crucial for East, because that allows Kai to work without the basketball, which is a key thing for Kai, because when she has the ball, all eyes are on her, whereas if she's moving without the basketball, maybe she can get lost behind some stagger screens or anything like that. But you're starting to see them score a lot better from outside, because they're starting to trust the freshman Little Hall a little bit more. And I think you're starting to see Alvarado find her groove and getting and being that slasher type. And then as far as Central goes, you're right. That loss to South was kind of a bitter taste. But for Central, for the last, 10 years, they keep coming to this East game where, everybody thinks East should be able to take care of them. No big deal. And that's kind of how it was felt on the 31st when we had that game. And they were able to shock some people and really put together a great game plan and execute it perfectly. And that's going to have to be what they do again, is execute whatever game plan Coach Kirkbride comes up with and execute it to a T.
As this is the final regular season contest for Cheyenne East, Cheyenne Central happening tomorrow there at Story Gymnasium on the girls' side. We size up the matchup right now between these two and what's at least at stake. Again, that quadrant kind of title and at least representing the Southeast in that number 1 seed as you get prepared for a regional tournament happening next weekend up there at Thunder Basin. But, as we look at this contest, what team gets hurt the most by losing tomorrow's contest there at Story Gymnasium? Is it Central? Is it East? What team, in your opinion, Chris, does the loss affect more heading into that regional tournament?
Oh, Central for sure. I think it's Central. I think if Central has to play Natrona in the first round, or either Natrona or Campbell County, really, in that first round, it's not a favorable matchup. Especially, I think Natrona's third right now, so that's who they would play in that first round. Natrona poses issues because of their 2 bigs, and even though 1 through 5 Central has some length, they don't have anybody that's over 6 foot. Whereas Natrona has 2 girls that start that are 5'11", 6'1". I think Kate Robertson's actually a 6'1", 6'2" for Natrona, and that could be a matchup issue. Plus, if you're not healthy, the last thing you want to do is play a team that you already played close with once before. You don't want to go in there kind of beaten and battered. You'd rather go up against a team that's not quite as talented in Sheridan. So I think Sheridan would have more to lose, Central would have more to lose if they are not able to take down East tomorrow.
So I understand, again, with East Central, again, that'll be 5:30 tap time for the ladies and 7 p.m. for the guys, roughly, over at Story Gym. Let's move on right now, because I understand we're going to have you for a few more minutes here. Let's take a look at, baseball, and you are one of our resident Dodger fans here in the city of Cheyenne. I know you're one of many. And again, the talk during the offseason, cheating. We're already starting to see some retributions being taken at the Houston Astros. Let's see, I've known now of 2 Astros that have been beaned in the preseason. And again, we're talking pitchers throwing about 90-plus miles an hour.
I think the total count up is either 7 or 8 so far.
So, first off, your thoughts, Chris. And again, did Rob Manfred handle this right, or again, this is just your opinion, or are the Dodgers just going to have to live with it?
Both. I think Rob Manfred really did not do a very good job with damage control whatsoever. I mean, anytime you call the commissioner's trophy just a piece of metal, I mean, this is what these guys play for. This is why they start in late February, early March, playing baseball every single day. I mean, baseball is the longest sport as far as months go when you look at it, because of the 162 games and then the playoffs on top of that. I mean, these guys work really hard, and to call it just a piece of metal, you had to have realized you were going to get some backlash on that, and he did. And as far as, like, the Dodgers go, I mean, they're going to have to eat it. And the fact that Houston cheated, it was very well documented. You can look at Clayton Kershaw's numbers home and away and see the big difference and have a really good idea of how much it affected that World Series. But, the Dodgers got to maybe use that as motivation for this year. They definitely spared no cost making that big trade for Mookie Betts and David Price. I mean, I think the Dodgers are really trying to go all in this year and go above reproach to get that first World Series since '88.
We played baseball, both you and myself, so you can relate to this and talk about the ever lovely kangaroo courts. Now, that each one of those pitchers in the starting five rotation, and any time that they're playing Houston, whatever team is playing, that somebody's going to be handed the bounty. And again, if you get suspended for 1 to 5 games, you miss a start, basically, as a starting pitcher. So I'm thinking, if you don't do what the team wants you to do, it's going to come out of your pocket. So I'm thinking any game through the 162 this year, Houston Astros better wear bulletproof vests.
Yeah, I agree with you, Larry. And actually, I wouldn't be shocked if you see a whole lot of quote-unquote openers start when they go into that Houston series, kind of like a guy that will come in and can pump the gas, but you're okay with losing for 4 or 5 days, where they just come in and they dot the first batter of the first inning, and then they get them and they yank them, right? And then they bring in their actual starter. I wouldn't be shocked if I see that quite a few times when teams play Houston.
So as you talk about at least the LA Dodgers, though, this year to focus away from Houston Astros, which, again, are going to be the kind of main spotlight this season, Houston Astros that have been at least selected here in the preseason or at least early in spring training to win the AL West, make it to the playoffs, and if not, win another World Series. Again, at least experts are already anticipating that. But, as you look with the LA Dodgers in the NL West, where right now your only competition you can only look at right now is what Arizona is going to do, possibly San Diego, Colorado, questionable team, and then San Francisco probably dead last in the NL West. But out of the entire National League, Chris, who kind of poses the biggest threat right now to that at least pathway for the LA Dodgers to make it back to the World Series?
I think the Cardinals are going to be really good this year. They have a very young pitching staff. Flaherty probably is going to be one of the favorites to win the Cy Young this year. And then they still got some dudes that can the ball and hit with he's still pretty dang good. And then as far as East goes, I know this is crazy, but gosh, the Mets have to be good at some point. You cannot be that bad with that pitching staff. You can't go during your out and be that bad. And the Mets with Syndergaard, with DeGrom, that's a heavy 1-2 punch. So I think they have enough hitting to where they should be good. Pete Alonso, Cespedes should be back at some point. I'm hoping that Nemo will finally get a legit chance to stay home and be in every lineup. And I think the Braves will be solid this year too. But trying to say this without my Dodger goggles on, I have a really hard time seeing anybody being able to compete with them in a 5 or 7 game series with the offensive line itself that they're going to put out.
Hey, final thought from me, and again, we appreciate you giving us some time. And again, I know we're having some problems, catching everything that you're saying on your phone. But real quick, and Nick too, this concerns you, and it's interesting the comment you made, especially about the NL West. The team that's been the most quiet during all of this going on during the offseason been the Padres. The Diamondbacks were busy, and then most recently we get the Bumgarner rodeo story, troubles in Colorado Rocky Land with Arenado and Bridich. The Giants, they're coming apart at the seams, and then, of course, then they're going to honor the tenured 2010 team and no Aubrey Huff, and then, of course, the Dodgers with the cheating scandal. But the Padres have been the team that's been quiet. They concern me now when we get into the Major League season. Anyway, Trevor Bauer, who's a pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds, sits down with Bryant Gumbel and talking about cheating pitchers using pine tar on the baseball. And again, guys, I'm old enough to tell you about Gaylord Perry when he pitched. I was taught by a former New York Yankee and Cleveland Indian, Steve Klein, how to doctor up a baseball, what kind of, sharpen your belt, grow your thumbnail, all kinds of things that you could do to doctor baseball. Right now, you're hearing about the Astros, you're hearing about pitchers doctoring the baseball. To me, sounds like the only guy that's clean in baseball is Pete Rose.
Yeah, right. That's kind of crazy to even think about that. I think in baseball is really the only sport where you see guys really go to extent levels to try to get some type of advantage. Baseball is really a lot of unwritten rules, right? Like a lot of things that you just don't do because you don't want to put a black mark on the game. And you do have those guys that don't care. They're willing to do it at all costs to win, to get the next contract and all that stuff.
Your thoughts, Nick?
My thoughts on it, again, it's, we go from one era of cheating to, again, gambling to steroid to now, again, it's kind of a sport that, we talk about the unwritten rules that it's not the cleanest of sports out there, especially on the major league side where, again, it seems like we're in another kind of cheating era once again, is what we've been learning, again, not just so much on the Houston Astros, but also, too, again, we heard tampering, names like Boston, New York. It's kind of another era of just more, at least kind of scandal baseball here for the Major League Baseball to kind of worry about.
Baseball in the black eye once again. Chris, hey, thank you so much. Have a great call tomorrow evening of East Central 2 over at Story Gym.
Thanks, and you guys, safe travels to Sheridan on tomorrow as well.
All right, sounds good. Chris Polton joined us, the high school voice here on 1480 KRAE, as he will have for you tomorrow. East Central 2 from Story Gym, 5:15 pregame. Tap time coming up at 4 p.m. We'll be back with more after this here on 1480 KRAE. For almost 30 years, I've had the pleasure to talk about Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service. Hi, this is Larry Proetti with an invitation to bring your vehicle into Cars for service and minor repairs that are done with precision and care. Now, I've known John and his staff for a long time, and when it comes to tune-ups, replacing shocks, fixing fuel pumps, replacing timing chains, working on heating and air conditioning units, or even just a good old-fashioned oil change, I only trust my car when it comes to service to be under the care of Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service. They are a TechNet professional, where their work is covered by a nationwide limited repair warranty that extends across North America for 24 months or 24,000 miles, whichever comes first. For more information, check out technetprofessional.com on the World Wide Web. Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service always goes one step above the rest when it comes to the care of your vehicle. 604 West Lincoln Way in Cheyenne, open Monday through Friday. Call and set up an appointment at 632-0498.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Brody inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480KRAE.com.
You're looking for fun and style? Then the new 2019 Kia Optima has what you need. And here at Kia of Cheyenne, we can help you own one. I'm AJ Miller, and the 2019 Kia Optima will reward your daily drive with comfort, performance, and advanced engineering. Kia Optima technology, your phone allows access to remote lock or unlock, climate control, 24-hour roadside assistance, and much more. Come in, call 775-0123, or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Brandt Audiology and Sherrard Hearing Centers have teamed up and are now Brandt Audiology and Tinnitus. Hi, I'm Dr. Ruby Zubrod. Our new team allows us to work with Audibel and all national hearing aid brands. We now cover many communities in the southeast Wyoming and western Nebraska area. Call to schedule your appointment so our team can help you with any hearing healthcare need. Call 426-4327 or find us at brantaudiology.com.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need.
Since 1966, family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company has been the stop for all lumber, paint, tools, accessories, remodel and do-it-yourself projects, and so much more. Now, Capital Lumber Company announces the beginning of a tasty relationship with Traeger grills, as they now have in stock several models of Traeger grills, along with pellets and accessories. Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
Did you know B&B Appliance and TV has a local warehouse where they stock a variety of appliances in a wide range of colors and finishes, including black and white? Their friendly staff realizes that one look isn't for everyone, and appliance shopping isn't always convenient. B&B Appliance offers free in-town delivery and disposal of your old appliances. They'll be there for you after the sale too, because they always service what they sell. B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Best brands, hometown service.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 41 and winds out of the northwest at 20 to 25 miles per hour. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 25. On Friday, it'll be sunny with highs around 50. And on Friday night, it'll be clear skies with lows around 29.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. While we got a chance here before our coaches come in for our LCCC Coaches Show, we'll have head coach Jason Ficca in first on the men's side, and then head coach Brian Ortmeier for the ladies. Let's go back to the baseball thing here real quick. And again, you're a young guy, and I'm an old guy, and I've seen a lot of baseball.
When did you figure that one out?
Well, no, I'm just saying I've seen a lot more baseball than you have. But I mean, let's take a look at this season. And then, you were young at the time during that strike year when they came back, and, baseball had no clue were the fans going to come back or not. And, fans were upset when that season ended, like Matt Williams for the Giants, who could have broke the home run record that
Well, it's
year.
been a slow trickle, or at least it feels like MLB has been trying to. Obviously, they're going to be overshadowed by the NFL. Overshadowed, again, by a few others. But, MLB has been trying to at least fill stadiums. You still have issues of, again, with some of the terrible teams or some of those small markets of filling up. Again, for Pittsburgh, when Colorado's struggling, hey, they're not going to show up there.
Oakland's always struggling.
Oakland's terrible. Again, they don't show up. They only show up when that team's winning in the postseason. But, again, as the A's looking to at least get out of that Coliseum soon. But right now, MLB's probably at its
low point, and I'll tell you why.
I don't know about the low point, but it is something that, again, MLB can get past this cheating scandal with the Houston Astros. They can't afford if it adds more to at least to the table of, okay, all right, so that World Series was tainted. Now we figure out that the Cardinals or the Giants or the Cubs victory, again, if within that 2010 range that we find out more teams were cheating, or at least more of those championships were tainted, that's going to spell the death for
But let's look at it, though. Again, I go back to the strike year. Again, you were young at that time. Then you look at, we had the replacement umpires, when the umpires were on strike.
NFL dealt with that, and again.
Then we've gone into the high technology world of umpiring with a lot of, stoppage of the game. Now you have this year, where Manfred basically put his foot in his mouth with calling the Commissioner's Trophy a piece of metal.
Which is dumb.
Obviously, you play for a ring, but, you still want to win the trophy.
If Bettman said, hey, it was a piece of metal for the Stanley Cup, that guy would not have a job.
Yeah, so you look at that. You got the Astros right now that are singled out by everybody. This is one time where all the owners in Major League Baseball, except for Houston, are unified to go after Houston this year for cheating.
Yeah, again, rightfully so. It is, again, talk about the unwritten rules of baseball. This is kind of that major one. This is kind of rule one. Hey, if you cheated, you basically stole your way to a championship, you got to pay the price. Again, whether it is from, whatever the commissioner does, or again, baseball in general does it to your franchise, that's neither here nor there. It's pretty much of, oh, okay, you're on that field playing against us. Here's how you're going to be reprimanded by us.
And think about it this. 3 managers were fired before the start of spring training. We're talking the current Houston manager, Hinch. We're talking a former coach with the Astros, Cora, who was the head skipper at Boston, and a guy who never got a chance to manage in New York, Beltran, because he was involved in the cheating scandal. But again, now you have Trevor Bauer, who sits down with Bryant Gumbel and says, hey, you know what? Houston may have cheated, but pitchers cheat all the time. Now, again.
Which, again, is
this is not a bulletin.
You go back to, at least try to think of, again, at least with Major League, that movie where, hey, you look at the older vet pitcher in there where I got Crisco, I got
Harris,
Vaseline, you go off, again.
You put snot on the ball?
Yeah, again, that is nothing new in Major League Baseball, but it's something where unless the ump catches you, which has happened, a few times of saying, hey, there's something on the ball, you mark the ball, you're out of here or something like that. Again, it's something that it's another unwritten rule of baseball where you anticipate that.
Well, I remember the Force brothers, Bob and Ken, and his brother Ken, I think brought an emery board with him. It was in his back pocket where they busted him for that. And again, as I told you, when I was in college at the time, and this gentleman, Steve Klein, was rehabbing from an Achilles injury. And again, you wear a belt buckle where it had, you sharpened it a little bit, to give a little scuff on the ball. You grew your fingernails so you can build up the laces to make a better curve ball.
And is this something that is only in Major League Baseball? Do you think that NFL players have similar stints like that? Again, whether it's a QB, whether it is, linemen trying to figure out some shape or form to again, give them a slight advantage. It doesn't matter what sport. You would imagine that in some player, not all players, they're finding ways to get past the rules or at least given a competitive advantage. Again, that is just human nature to find that way of where, hey, I got to be at the top of my game. I need a little help here. This is how it is. And it's not just pitchers.
You remember when Stickum was outlawed? I mean, you think of, Lester Hayes from the Raiders, who had plenty of Stickum. And again, the great Fred Biletnikoff. And again, that was outlawed. But now you're looking at all these guys that are wearing gloves. What's the great advantage of having those gloves right now?
Protection of hands of where
there's protection of hands. Is there some type of
cushiony or
some type of stick 'em on the gloves?
Who really knows? And again, you go back to baseball with pitchers of how again, hey, pitchers cheat or at least they find a competitive advantage. So do hitters. Again, the main thing, or at least some hitters, the main culprit is corking a bat. Which
bats can't be corked anymore. They can be, but are.
But you don't think that there's some way where, again, you still have players right now, even past steroid era, that still do at least that wellness, at least, they break that wellness policy.
I think the bats are almost
you don't
like
think that technology. You don't think that players could have found out some way to get past or at least go, hey, here's something to put inside the bat that makes it hit a little bit better, sends that ball out a little faster or something like that, where, again, it's not corking, but they find some way, which, again, slides through. There's always – it's like it goes with technology, it goes with the way of the world where, again, you're going to find a new way to cheat.
Well, again, you look at the Bauer comments to Bryant Gumbel talking about the pine tar in the baseball. Now, again, pine tar, obviously, a sticky substance. And again, I know that, because I use pine tar. But the thing is, the baseballs are rubbed up with this red clay out of Georgia, how they rub them up. And again, or just plain old-fashioned dirt. Bottom line is they get them rubbed up. Now,
dirt, rosin, whatever.
Obviously, if a baseball only has an average life of about 4 or 5 pitches, and it's gone. Once it hits the dirt, you ever notice they throw it out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Bauer is on the button a little bit with the pine tar, but the point is though too, pitchers, as you said, Nick, we're talking about the steroid era, talking about corking bats, which I don't think they're doing the corking of the bats, But, the cheating scandal by the Astros.
I'm just saying,
I think pitchers
okay,
right now
they might not be corking bats, but there's probably some player out there that has figured out something to put in a bat that gives them a competitive advantage.
I think the pitchers in general right now are.
It's not like you're X-raying every bat that goes through.
I think the pitchers are feeling, and I don't want to use the word left out, but they're almost like behind the curve now, because the guys, to use the quote, bigger, stronger, faster. And the pitchers, they are throwing faster. But they have to, every time they're on the hill, they got to have a good effort or they're gone.
Yeah.
So there's more pressure on a pitcher than there is, in my opinion, than a hitter. So, looking for an advantage, like you said, going back to the movie Major League, I would venture to say that some pitchers are probably doing things that are below board, to enhance their stock. But again, look at how many baseballs they go through a game. So if you are doctoring a ball.
Yeah, so again, if you are trying to figure out if this is true, it's pretty much of, okay, well, here goes one baseball, here goes another, here goes that one, where, again, are you going to take the time to analyze every single baseball out there to go, okay, that one's tainted, that one's tainted, that one's tainted, this isn't, that isn't. Again, are you going to take that time? Is MLB going to have a dedicated staff to do that? If it gets out of line, I wouldn't put it against Major League Baseball.
And what do they do, too? When the umpires call for the ball, they throw it on the ground. So it automatically gets scuffed as it goes into the dugouts. But the thing is, too, baseballs are plentiful today as opposed to the 60s when Gaylord Perry. And many managers. I went to a Giants game at Old Candlestick, Nick, and I'm not kidding, my dad, your grandfather, and we watched Gaylord Perry literally take his shirt off, take his hat off because he was bald on top, and the umpire went through and checked the hat, checked the shirt, everything, to see that there was no emollients or anything on his uniform. And again, back then they weren't throwing baseballs out every third or fourth pitch. Baseballs back then were, revered. Hey, let's try to use it as long as we can.
Well, and again, you see even after, a half inning's over, you see that ball get tossed up into the stands, tossed to a fan, whatever it may be. So, yes, again, you have that availability. And, again, it's something that in the Major League Baseball, it's not an issue, so they can afford it. But that's also, too, right there in itself, a way for pitching staffs to at least possibly cheat. Again, not saying that every pitcher out there in the league is now cheating, but again, those who want to find that competitive advantage, there's also too that kind of route of, hey, it is third or fourth pitch, I can run my luck. There it goes, and again, there goes the evidence.
Think about that ball that's thrown. Nolan Arenado, he's got the ball at third base and he's throwing it in the stands, right? John Gray threw the ball, and he had it doctored with some pine tar on it. Well, yeah, only Arenado and Gray know that the ball was pine-tarred as he threw it in the stands, and you caught the ball. You're not going to care that the ball is pine-tarred. It's like, hey, I got a Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
You're not going to go run upstairs to the KOA booth and say, hey, this ball's been doctored.
Well, again, that's why you see a lot of them, again, toss into the crowd, but also to kind of spotlight towards, young kids out there where, hey, you're part of the game. Here's a free baseball. Go have fun. Again, while you're here at a Major League Baseball game, is that something that players are specifically doing just to avoid that cheating scandal? Again, not saying that is the case, but again, it's another alibi. If you want to cheat, it's another way out to say, okay, here it is. That ball that I just pitched that has something on it goes to that player. He realizes what's going on here because, again, players are going to talk. Players are going to say, hey, I'm doing this. Can you help me out? Again, you are my teammate. When you get the baseball, you toss it to an unsuspecting kid that's not going to know what's on in the baseball.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Again, there's just outs. There's opportunities. Again, with technology, the evolution of the game, knowledge, how things are, what's available this day and age, there's going to be some way, shape, or form that players find a way to have that competitive advantage, cheat in some way, shape, or form. And again, it's not just in baseball. Hockey, you could probably, hockey could be the same way. Football, basketball, there's going to be some way, shape, or form.
And again, if you get caught, you get in trouble. That's the bottom line.
If you get caught, again, you look at what happened with the Houston Astros. Hey, That team has an asterisk by that World Series title, but they're still World Series champions.
Well, and thus far,
that championship did not get handed over to the L.A. Dodgers. No, it's still Houston won that series.
But also, too, though, and Houston of 2020.
Those players who have championship rings still have those championship rings.
That's right. And again, too, now through 5 games, as you mentioned, 7 Astros have been plunked. This will not be the end of the plunking of the Houston Astros.
No, I would anticipate all 162 games that they play this year, someone's going to get hit.
You know, and the Astros, you know, will kindly take the base, but I think there's going to be down the road.
I feel bad for the players that eventually get traded to the Houston Astros, who should be active in the market of where they're anticipated to be in the standings, and again, possibly win another AL West crown, where they're going to try and fight off the LA Angels, Texas Rangers, whoever else in that at least division. But you kind of feel bad for those players that are going to get picked up by the Houston Astros that now get in that firing
And I don't
line.
know what the head hunting and what the bounties are. Again, you don't want to ever throw at a guy's head. Okay? No. I mean, that's, you know, you're not out there to maim them. But again, I don't know what the mindsets are right now. You know, again, you know, you get a bonus. Hey, Nick, here's the deal from the Kangaroo Court: $20,000 if you pop Altuve in the knee. I mean, I don't know. That's just it.
Well,
I mean, there's some bounties out there right now.
You wonder, once the first injury happens because of a hit by pitch, at least on a Houston Astros player, when does MLB step up? When does MLB have to say something?
They should be stepping up right now because they already know there's something in the works.
Well, is it a reactionary move by at least by Major League Baseball, or do they need to be proactive right now and say, no, stop it before it gets too serious and then you cost a player at least his season, so to speak, if something does go awry? And again, whether it is you are aiming that pitch for the shoulder, for the arm, for the back, and again, it slips out of your hand and plunks him in the head, and then, oh no, he's gone for a while. You wonder what Major League Baseball's step is going to be now. When will they step in?
Again, if you're going to throw suspensions out there, and you and me know this, we've had this discussion before. Hey, 1 to 3 days, they're not even going to miss a start.
No,
because they get to appeal. And
I think where again you don't think MLB's looking at those loopholes though of like, if we're going to find a way to suspend players of targeting the Houston Astros,
and then they got to deal with the players union too. So I mean, they're.
But guess what? Who's also a part of that players union is the Houston Astros.
That's right.
And again, they're going to make their case.
Well, but again, this is just one of the things I'm just kind of concerned about right now. I would think if
MLB doesn't do anything, it's going to get out of hand.
I think it should be at least a couple of starts. If there's bounties being put on the Astros, and again, it's done on purpose.
And again, they brought it on themselves.
I understand that,
without a doubt,
and they're getting lumps already.
Do I care if Houston gets plunked all 162 games? Do I lose a bit of sleep? No, I think they deserve to be. Again, with how at least what they've done and what they did, again as a payment, as a punishment, they deserve to be. But it's something that it's going to get out of hand. It's going to hurt some individuals, and also to someone at a price to pay or at a cost. They're gonna lose a season. Yeah. They're gonna get really injured.
And somebody's gonna get something could happen. Somebody could get hurt by
I anticipate again you're gonna have probably a bench clearing brawl once at least a point in time of the season against Houston.
Quite a few of them. Yeah, I think quite a few. A couple other notes here, and then we got to get to the top of the hour. Giancarlo Stanton injured again. Calf muscle, may miss the opening of the season.
Yeah, but it's not for long.
And I'm just seeing here Chris Sale of Boston. He is hurt right now, and he may miss the opening part of the season for the Bo Sox. How about the Madison Bumgarner story? Rodeo Madison Bumgarner. You didn't see that rodeo story?
I saw snippets of it, but I did not.
Does the guy just kind of live on that edge a little bit here as he gets older and older?
Again, he's going to do whatever he wants in the off season, and if he wants, he's a country boy from the Carolinas. Well, if that's what he wants to do, then go right ahead.
All right.
Again, he paid the repercussion of riding the ATV out here in Colorado. Again, he lost a majority of a season. If he wants a rodeo, and again, that's up to him. that's also too on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hey, you want to reel that guy in? You got to lay out the line of, hey, you're not doing that.
Well, think about it.
We pay you too much money to go risk your life.
2 years ago, the ATV accident. Last year, the last day of spring training, the thumb incident. And he's gone.
Well, that's nothing.
I know, but I'm just saying the guy is like the last couple. He hasn't had 2 healthy seasons in a row.
I don't think he will this season.
Yeah, and now he's just challenging fate again by being a rodeo clown. Good for him. All right, we do got to move into the 4 o'clock hour. It's our LCCC Coaches Show coming up right here on 1480 KRAE.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. It's time for Wyoming Sports Talk today on KRAE. Here are your hosts, Nick and Larry Proetti.
Hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today being brought to you by Mondello's Pizzeria, open 7 days a week, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons, right across the street at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. It's First Tier Bank. They're open Monday through Friday. Lennox Auto Body, over on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard. You can give them both a call, 634-6608, if you need their services. Again, they're both part of a great family, the Lennox family. And again, they have been serving our area needs for over a quarter century. B&B Appliance and TV at 714 Central Avenue. And again, where they service what they sell. Remember, B&B Appliance and TV. Medicap Pharmacy over on Bluegrass Circle. Same location as always. Gene and the great staff invite you to come on by as they're open Monday through Saturday. Again, inside you can shop or use a convenient drive-through outside. Chick-fil-A at Windmill and Delrange. They're serving up 3 delicious squares for you Monday through Saturday, right across from Powers Field and Menards. By Valley Bank ×2. The original location on Banda High, and of course the east side location at the corner of College and Pershing. We want to thank Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Yes, you definitely need to plop yourself down in one of those 2020 Kias and take one home today. Of course, got to do the paperwork thing, all right? Don't just take it home. All right, Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. See my good friend AJ and the crew over there. And Taco John's of Cheyenne, where the fish tacos are back. Again, celebrating, the Lenten season before Easter. So, again, enjoy some delicious fish tacos over at Taco John's of Cheyenne. And a scoreboard time. It's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
Reminding folks, coming up tomorrow here on 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com is where you can hear the contest. No video live stream due to the fact that we'll be on the road. Myself and Pops across the way, as we'll be on the road tomorrow afternoon up to Sheridan for LCCC's contest on Saturday. So again, Chris Polton will be by himself as he will cover Cheyenne East and Cheyenne Central live from Story Gymnasium. Boys and girls action. Girls up first at 5:30. 7 o'clock is a tentative start time for the boys. Again, Cheyenne East versus Cheyenne Central. The end of the regular season battle for the Southeast Quadrant on both sides. So again, looking forward to those contests. 5:10 pregame show is the start time for tomorrow. At least high school action here on 1480 KRAE. Saturday, we will be on the road, as I mentioned, up to Sheridan to the Golden Dome, as it will be first-round playoff action in women's basketball with the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles. They'll be the 5 seed out of the North, taking on the number 4 seed, Sheridan College Lady Generals. As a 2 o'clock start time, 1:40-ish pregame show here on 1480 KRAE. We will be video live streaming that contest on Periscope via Twitter and the 1480 KRAE YouTube channel. And again, that game's happening Saturday. NHL action for tonight. Montreal Canadiens at home. They will host the New York Rangers. The Chicago Blackhawks, they will travel to Tampa Bay to see the Lightning. Florida Panthers at home at BB&T, at least Arena. They will take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Dallas Stars will go to the TD Garden to see the Boston Bruins. Ottawa Senators at home. They will host the Vancouver Canucks. Minnesota Wild will be in Detroit to see the Red Wings at Little Caesars Arena. St. Louis Blues at home. They will host the New York Islanders in Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. The Predators will take on the Calgary Flames. Winnipeg Jets at home. They will take on the Washington Capitals. And last but not least, the New Jersey Devils will go to the Shark Tank in San Jose, California to see the San Jose Sharks. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
And we take a look at the NBA slate. Only 4 games on the schedule. It will be the Knicks and the 76ers in the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, PA. Pacers in the Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. They host the Portland Trailblazers, the Sacramento Kings, and the OKC Thunder tonight. It'll be Sacramento and Oklahoma City in the Chesapeake Energy Arena in OKC. And Lakers and the Warriors will hook up in the Chase Center in San Francisco late night for tonight. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
I'm Nate. And I'm Kate.
And we're not just literal taste buds. We're best buds.
And there's nothing that we love more than a
cool,
crisp,
deliciously refreshing Pepsi!
Sure, we live inside your mouth.
But that doesn't mean we don't enjoy the finer things.
Hey, Nate. Pepsi incoming!
Here it comes!
Tastes so good.
Tell me about it.
So,
amazing.
That's what I was thinking.
It's like we share the same mouth, Kate.
Forever and ever, Nate.
Make your taste buds happy and pick up a delicious, refreshing Pepsi.
Did you know B&B Appliance and TV has a local warehouse where they stock a variety of appliances in a wide range of colors and finishes, including black and white? Their friendly staff realizes that one look isn't for everyone, and appliance shopping isn't always convenient. B&B Appliance offers free in-town delivery and disposal of your old appliances. They'll be there for you after the sale, too, because they always service what they sell. B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Best brands, hometown service.
What is Schwab's modern approach to investing? It's great service. It's transparency about how much you're paying in fees and commissions. It's offering some of the lowest costs in the industry backed by a satisfaction guarantee. If you're not satisfied for any reason, they'll refund the eligible fees and work with you to make things right. So ask yourself, are you getting low cost and award-winning service? If not, maybe it's time to call Schwab. Visit Sam at the Cheyenne Independent Branch or schwab.com/Cheyenne for more information. Charles Schwab and Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need.
Since 1966, family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company has been the stop for all lumber, paint, tools, accessories, remodel and do-it-yourself projects, and so much more. Now, Capital Lumber Company announces the beginning of a tasty relationship with Traeger grills, as they now have in stock several models of Traeger grills, along with pellets and accessories. Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
Hop into the KRAE Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 KRAE, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480krae.com.
When you are dealing with the coin shop to buy, sell, or trade your gold, silver, or other precious metals, you will be met with honesty, fairness, knowledge, and exceptional customer service. The coin shop has been serving Cheyenne since 1982 and is a respected member of our community. Call David today at 778-7196 to meet privately or visit during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. The Coin Shop, a dealer you can trust, 510 West 16th Street.
Every day we have the opportunity to lead by example. In delivering reliable, affordable, and responsible electricity to power what matters to you, we are taking bold steps to change how your energy is produced. With 50% of your electricity coming from renewable sources by 2024. Because as a cooperative, we are changing together. Whatever the future holds, we'll power it. Tri-State and High West Energy. Cooperative power. Transformed.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 41 and winds out of the northwest at 20 to 25 miles per hour. Then for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 25. On Friday, it'll be sunny with highs around 50, and on Friday night, it'll be clear skies with lows around 29.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Coach's Show Day, and we get a chance to talk with head coach Jason Ficca. It's good to have Coach Ficca back, as again dealing with family issues. And again, Coach, our thoughts and prayers are with you at this time as well too. But other than that, you came back into town, and obviously you've had a chance. I'm assuming on the side to keep in touch with your ball club. A couple of ball games where what you've been looking for, and Coach Salisbury, basically speaking for you, said, "Hey, this team wish we were doing this back in January."
Yeah, I did send some messages to the guys last week and watched the entirety of your broadcast Wednesday. I had to pretty much listen on Saturday as I was driving back while we were playing. So, and I had a chance to watch the video of the game. So, I've seen both performances, and there was a lot of good, and kind of true to form. When we go bad, we go all the way bad. So it's unfortunate. I mean, there was some really good stuff over those two games, and chance to pull out 2 wins, and it just didn't happen again. So it's frustrating for all of us. But we're moved on to postseason play, and we've got to embrace the cliche. We've got to embrace the cliche. Everybody's 0-0.
Without a doubt. And again, as we talked with head coach Sean Gunning yesterday, where he gave high remarks for this LCCC squad of especially how they've been recently playing of, again, it's a team that is slowly trending upwards right now, where it's a team, we look at D1 where the Cowboys are kind of that team at the bottom that folks are kind of worried about. LCCC's kind of in that same position where, hey, you're trending upward at the right time. As you mentioned with us in a couple seasons, Coach, where, hey, doesn't matter what's January, February. It's what you want here at the end of February, March, heading into postseason play, where right now your team is trending that upward route right now to at least have some positive momentum up to Casper this Saturday.
Yeah, with a full week to prepare for a single game, we've had a chance to rest a little bit, which is good. But we've gotten a little more in depth with our preparations as far as some statistical things. On our part. We've got to be very deliberate for us who takes shots and when they take shots and what types of shots they take. So we had that analysis, but then we've got to compare ourselves to Casper. We've got to look at they're pretty high octane. I think they shoot over 70 shots a game and they score 98 or something. One team has held them below 80, and that was Trinidad on November 1st. So it's a tall task to defend them. We've got to defend them in multiple ways, not just think that we're going to match up head-to-head and we're going to stop them. Nobody has done that. Nobody. So we've got to use tempo to slow them down. We've got to use several tactics, but we got to be very deliberate offensively, defensively, very focused, very deliberate. And if we can execute that, then we're probably still going to need some help. I think it was last night or the night before, I saw Buzz Williams for Texas A&M, and he essentially said, look, our defense is designed to block the paint. Now, if we take that away, but a team can still come in here and knock down threes, we're going to get beat. And that's somewhat the strategy we're going to employ. We've got to take away and plug that paint, not let them get to the rim in transition or in the half court or on the second chance, and then see if they can knock down 10, 12 threes. If they can go 12 for 24 from the three, they're going to get us.
You talk about at least having a week to get folks kind of healthy. Again, where we saw in that final contest, a lot of Golden Eagles take their bumps and bruises. Mateo, also too, most notable one being Eric Oliver, where he is kind of the figure, at least the centerpiece right now for LCCC, where he's going to kind of make and break this upcoming contest, at least up in for Saturday up there in Casper. Coach, you knew this one was coming for you. What is kind of the health status right now for one Eric Oliver?
Yeah, it's a concussion protocol. You don't know how long it takes. Obviously right now he's not practicing right now, so we're making preparations to not have him, but it's unknown at this point if he'll be available or not. So we can't prepare to have him if we don't have him in practice, so we've got to prepare to play without him. So what we're going to try to do is really take advantage of Mateo Zovko, where he's best, which is in the paint. Another guy that we really need to step up is Caleb Davis. Caleb Davis is the only guy on our team that shoots over 50%. but he only shoots less than, I think, 2 or 3 shots a game. So he's a guy that we got to get some points of. And our hottest player right now is Courtney Dean. Courtney Dean in his last 4 games is shooting 67% from the floor, 50% from the three. But again, he's not taking enough shots. So these are the statistical things that we present to everybody. And on the other side, we went to Damian Perry in front of everybody, and he received it great. I said, Damian, you're shooting 33%, but you're taking 16 shots a game. Okay, some of those shots have got to go to Courtney. Eric shoots about 14, 15 shots a game. Some of those shots have got to go to Mateo. Some of those got to go to Caleb. So we have to redistribute about 20, 22 shots, maybe 24 shots to those 3 guys. And then, Damian, he's 33%. I think he's 34%. He's right equal percentage from the 3 or the 2. Okay, well, if you shoot the same percentage from the 3 or the 2, which shot should you be taking? The 3. Sit on, you get more points for that. So we've said, Damian, you're probably still going to take about 10 shots, but 8 of those probably need to be threes. Maybe a couple of those mid-range jumpers, when a guy flies at you, but I had a really good chance to watch the video and not watch it the same way as like when I watch a game coaching it and really see, he really was not finishing well at the rim. And so, okay, stay away from the rim. If you're not finishing great from the rim, stay away from the rim. That's pretty simple. It doesn't take a genius to figure that one out.
As I'm hearing you, and again, we're sizing up Casper, and I'm kind of reverting back because I've been watching a lot of it lately. Hoosiers on TV, where they come in at the end and said, and David, slays Goliath. Well, again, this is kind of a David and Goliath type of story. Let's be real honest. We talked with Coach Gutting yesterday. You have Jalen Harris, a very good ball handler. He can shoot. You've had great compliments for David Walker. Luckily, and again, we don't know what his status is.
He was sick,
but I'm sure he'll be back for the game against LCCC. You look at Pepple in the middle. Banks, who fills in nicely for Walker. Off the bench is Satchel. They have weapon after weapon after weapon. And it's like when you think you got them contained, they go elsewhere on you.
Well, yeah, and then to go back to your Hoosiers reference, I don't see Jimmy Chitwood walking through the door for us. So, Eric Oliver's our Jimmy Chitwood. So, right now, maybe we'll have that kind of performance from Eric, a Willis Reed, Jimmy Chitwood deal, but we're preparing without him. But you're right. I mean, Casper can put 5 guys on the floor that are bigger, stronger, faster at every position than we can put on the floor. So we've got to win with strategy. And then, frankly, we're probably going to need them to not have their A game. I don't think there's any trade secrets there by saying we're going to need them to underperform a little bit. If we put in our best performance, we're still going to need them to be like a B-, a C+ kind of performance for them. So it's a tall task, but we're going up there to play the game. So we're not phoning it in. We're going to go play. We're going to compete.
You have over 200-plus wins in your career at LCCC, and again, this season is one that I'm sure you and Coach Salisbury are saying, like, wow, we shouldn't be on this side. How tough has it been on you? And, Coach, I know you guys come to work every day, and it's all about the guys, and you're trying to make them better basketball players and trying to adapt to the style, but how tough has it been this season?
Very hard. Hard on not just me, on everybody. Obviously my personal situation with my family back home is worn on me pretty heavily too. But I think it's maybe been a more difficult season because I really was high on this team in October, and I don't usually get high on a team in October. But I thought we were going to be pretty good. I thought we were looking at a 20-win season, not a 20-loss season. And I'm still scratching my head. How did it go this wrong this fast? I did not see this coming. And so maybe I should have tempered my hopes and expectations. But I really thought I knew what I was looking at in October, and it just didn't. it looked good in some scrimmages. I mean, it wasn't just a practice thing. We competed well. We scored well. We beat some people in the 4 or 5 scrimmages we had. I think we won. I think if we had 5 or 6, I think we won 4 of those 5 or something like that, or something. 4 of 6, maybe something like that. So I thought we were pretty good. And then November 1 hit, and then it just went south in a hurry. So I'm not. That may be a part of why this has been so difficult, because I think we went into the season with really high expectations, and then even after seeing us compete some, the expectations were still there, and so I've been really floored by this.
Well, it was a season also, too, Coach, where it was a season of anomalies, whether it was suspensions, injuries, lost players for whatever reason amongst your squad. So, again, it was a just kind of questionable 2019-2020 campaign where everything and anything that could go bad for this team kind of did, at least for you, Coach. But, neither here nor there, as now we focus towards the postseason. But as we recap and look to this divisional play for LCCC, and we asked at least head coach Gutting of Casper College this question yesterday, and we'll ask you the same thing of just give your thoughts on Region 9 divisional, at least North divisional play this season, where we saw the upsets from kind of the lower bottom half teams against Western or Casper or Gillette from the likes of Eastern Wyoming, where your team has been competitive with some of those upper echelon teams, albeit having leads at half to some of these teams. But talk about how tough it was to get victories in this very competitive division.
Well, the difference between the top and the bottom, I mean, you look at the records, and it looks like there's a huge gap between the halves and the top and the bottom, with Northwest only winning 1 conference game and us winning 2. But there's not much gap there at all between the top and the bottom. There is in the wins, losses, but in the talent and the performance. So it's pretty tightly bunched, and I think some teams have really risen. Central has risen over the last couple of years. Eastern has obviously risen in the 2 years that Coach Moser's been there, his 2nd year now. Them jumping up and beating a Western Wyoming, that didn't happen 3 years ago. Eastern and so Western has really risen, I think, under Coach Sosa. So there's been some teams rise and been some teams fall, and we're one of the teams that's fallen. And so, but we can fix it. We had a 10-year stretch where we finished either first, second, third, or fourth, or worst, tied for fourth. It has been our worst finish for a decade. So I don't think this is something that can't be fixed. It's junior college. And there's a lot of turnover regardless. So I feel like we can fix this quickly. It's not a huge rebuilding. Like, okay, we need 3 years to rebuild this. We just got to do a great job recruiting this year. Great job developing some of these freshmen that will be back this spring. I mean, I'm usually fairly hands off. We have an off-season program, but our off-season program is going to be much more intense this spring, much more intense, much more hands-on, much more we usually are pretty individual skill development oriented in spring. We're going to have the individual skill development, but we're also going to continue to develop our team play, our pick and roll game, our team offense game, our team defense game. So not to say we're hands off, but we're usually individual skill focused, and we're going to still do that, but we're also going to keep doing team things because we've got a lot of returners.
Looking at and again, you had the opportunity to see this more as a fan than a coach, because again, when you're on the side, you're busy and you're in the ball game for 40 minutes. But as you're watching this, listening to it, then going back and watching it, you're seeing the team, and again, as we're calling it, we're seeing it too, where we're kind of like setting you up. Like, coach, here comes the 5 minutes, or this is going to be a very critical 5-minute stretch for the team. You're seeing the same things we're seeing there. We're seeing, stretches in 5 minutes where we maybe get 4 shots up. They're one and dones, and we've turned the ball over 4 times. How do you get this team I guess, this is the easiest way to ask, how do you get them to play 40 instead of 34 and 35 minutes?
Well, the consistency is we've got to build consistency, and that just comes through drill work. We've got to drill. We made one conscious decision this year to do more 5-on-5 things in practice, and I probably went too far with that. We're going to go back, especially this spring, to breaking things down and a lot of drill work to where things are habits. Once something's a habit, then you do it every time, and you do it every time for 40 minutes. So just like defensive rotations, we got to drill that, and part of that, not to say we went all the way away from drill work this year, but we probably need to do mostly drill work with mostly freshmen. Now, next year, if we do a lot of drill work this spring, next year maybe we can work on more 5-on-5, 4-on-4, more the bigger concept, offensive execution, the whole picture kind of stuff with a bunch of returners who have gone through the drill work.
Final thought, and then we want to thank you for joining us today. And again, unfortunately, we won't be with you Saturday afternoon. We'll be up in Sheridan. We can't be two places at once. But the final thought, and I'm glad that Nick mentioned it about Eric Oliver. When is the official, and I hate to use the word drop dead, but when is, is he on protocol until game time? When will you know that he will not be available for sure?
I don't know when I won't. I don't know when I'll know. I would say it's doubtful. I didn't even ask. I mean, Eric had a dentist appointment this morning, so I didn't even see him this morning for practice. But that's an indicator. If he's at the dentist, that's a pretty good indicator that we better be prepared to go without him. But I'll know for sure on Friday. If he's not cleared to practice Friday, he won't be cleared which is tomorrow. So if he's not cleared to practice tomorrow, which it seems doubtful if he was at the dentist today, maybe I'm giving away a secret. Maybe I shouldn't tell everybody he was at the dentist today.
It's not like Coach Gutting would be listening to this.
Well, no,
he just recently followed me on Twitter. So
when he hit the floor, you start to hear KYOY through his gums now.
Yeah,
all right,
but we do want to remind folks coming up this Saturday up there at the Swede. Again, it will be the number 2 seed out of the North Casper College taking on the number 7 seed out of the North LCCC. That is a 4 o'clock start time up there in Casper, Wyoming. Again, Casper College coming into that contest, number 24 nationally ranked in the recent polls. So again, LCCC, again, best of luck to the Golden Eagles. Hopefully a team that has seen a lot of top 25 outfits this season, hopefully can get that upset victory against those Thunderbird team up there in Casper.
Head coach Jason Ficca joining us here on our LCCC Coaches Show. Take a time out, we'll come back. Ladies coach Brian Ortmeier on the way right here on 1480 KRAE. Family owned and operated Lennox Auto Body, along with the Auto Glass and Detail Center, has been serving our community for over 25 years with quality service and workmanship. So when you want it done right the first time, call Lennox Auto Body at 634-6608 for an appointment. Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue. And the Auto Glass and Detail Center, remember, it's not clean until it's Lennox clean at 617 East Pershing Boulevard.
Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures, makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Don Morris at 307-637-0301.
All you good folks in Laramie and Goshen counties, listen up, please. Cheyenne Urological is now operating a satellite clinic in Torrington at 524 College Drive. Yes, top quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence will now be provided by the highly trained staff of Cheyenne Urological in Torrington. So save yourself a trip and take advantage of the same wisdom, compassion, and expertise that served Cheyenne for over 30 years. Call Cheyenne Urological at 307-635-4131. Is the touchscreen on your phone or tablet cracked or broken? Buying a new device could cost up to $1,000. Or you could let the local experts at High West Digital Solutions save you hundreds of dollars. We can replace your touchscreen in as little as a day, and your satisfaction is guaranteed. Visit our website at hwds.com or call 307-245-4333 and speak to a real live human being. High West Digital Solutions, the best choice, the local choice, the right choice for you.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
What is Schwab's modern approach to investing? It's great service. It's transparency about how much you're paying in fees and commissions. It's offering some of the lowest costs in the industry backed by a satisfaction guarantee. If you're not satisfied for any reason, they'll refund the eligible fees and work with you to make things right. So ask yourself, are you getting low cost and award-winning service? If not, maybe it's time to call Schwab. Visit Sam at the Cheyenne Independent Branch or schwab.com/Cheyenne for more information. Charles Schwab and Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need.
Since 1966, family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company has been the stop for all lumber, paint, tools, accessories, remodel and do-it-yourself projects, and so much more. Now, Capital Lumber Company announces the beginning of a tasty relationship with Traeger grills, as they now have in stock several models of Traeger grills, along with pellets and accessories. Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 41 and winds out of the northwest at 20 to 25 miles per hour. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 25. On Friday, it'll be sunny with highs around 50. And on Friday night, it'll be clear skies with lows around 29.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Perotti, Nick Perotti, and Brian Ortmeier, the head coach of the Lady Golden Eagles, who joins us here on our second half of our coaches show. And Coach, obviously the Lady Golden Eagles had a very rough homestand, which we'll delve into. I know we had a chance to talk to head coach Brad Miles up at
Brad Miles, who not even close. How about Ryan Davis?
Ryan Davis. I don't know why I'm thinking Brad Miles. Anyway, Ryan Davis. We had a chance to chat with him too this week, so we'll get into some of that conversation. But real quick, let's take a look at the last couple of games. In your opinion, what went wrong?
It's just been inconsistency quarter to quarter. If you just look at Central, for example, the game, we come out on fire, can't miss a shot. We put up, I think, 24 points in the first quarter. We still have a pretty decent second quarter, but you could see we started to turn the ball over a little bit more. We started throwing it off hands, off people's legs, just got a little careless with our passing. We come out in the second half and we have open shots, and instead of knocking those down, we start forcing stuff at the rim for layups. So again, it's just staying consistent with our approach from quarter to quarter. And even if you go to the Eastern game before that, we have trouble scoring in the first half, and then all of a sudden we just catch fire in the second half. So it's being able to stay consistent with the approach on offense and defense, and you have to have 40 minutes again of that consistency on both sides of the ball.
I noticed in the game against Eastern, you kind of limited the bench a little bit. We didn't see the play of Kaysen. I think Soraya was kind of also joining her on the bench as well.
Abby also, too, had a limited minutes as well, too.
And especially in the fourth quarter. Yeah. But they kept throwing big after you, and Jakia held her own. I'm not going to take anything away from that, but what was the logic behind keeping some of your bigs on the bench? And again, they are your muscle part of your team.
Sure. Some of it, again, is when we've went to some of those smaller lineups in the past, we've defended better. We've been a little quicker defensively across the board. So, again, with some of these teams like Eastern, where they really drive the ball hard at 4 positions, the post player's a little bit more mobile, can step out and shoot threes. And then, again, just like Central, a little quicker team on the perimeter, we tried to stay smaller, tried to play more to that small ball style, where, again, early in the season when we tried to stay bigger against those teams, it got us in some trouble, specifically when teams stepped out and pressed us. So it's part of something that had been working fairly well for us against Sheridan and Northwest and Western. And, again, you try to stick with the things that are working, and it kind of bit us these last 2 games.
Well, looking at this upcoming matchup, Oregon, as Coach Ficca kind of talked about, it's that cliche of every team is now 0-0. You will head up to Sheridan to see this Lady Generals team where, you split the regular season contest, but we go back to that loss up in the Golden Dome where, again, it was a scenario where I said post-game of, hey, the better team did not win that game up there due to the fact of, again, whether it was just LCCC shooting themselves in the foot, but also to a little help from the officials out there on that court as well, too. And I'll lead into that one, at least, Brian, where we talked with Ryan Davis about that. We'll ask you, and we mentioned it plenty of times throughout the season, but, this is the matchup that has amassed 112 fouls between both teams. You've had a week to prepare for this and look at film and look at what has happened between this series between LCCC and Sheridan College. Does that kind of go into the philosophy or that anticipation that we're going to run into those similar games as we did the previous 2 against this Lady Generals, at least squad?
Well, I think it's something that you have to obviously look at and prepare for. So, whether every one of those calls isn't actually a foul, it's still, it's going to indicate that they like to drive the basketball. And they like to play drive kick. They're very similar to what Eastern does with their approach. They're going to catch, they're going to put their head down and try and finish at the rim first. And if you get them stopped and you get them contained without hand checking or fouling, it's going to be a kick out for somebody for a 3. So for us, again, you have to be able to look at that in practice and get ready for that approach and be prepared for a team that's going to drive the ball hard. So hands back, hands off, slide your feet, just the basic fundamentals on defense. And then the other part of that is we got to make sure that we're checking out and making sure that we're boxing out and controlling the boards too, because, again, you're going to get a lot of long rebounds with those threes. You're going to get probably some wild shots with, again, teams that like to drive to the basket if you can contest it well. So, again, we've got to be able to contest without fouling. And then we got to clean up the boards, too.
Well, also, too, you got to feel confident taking on this Sheridan College team, albeit that they will host that first-round playoff game coming up this Saturday. But, look at what they did in the series against Casper College where they got kind of spanked around, but also, too, that Lady Thunderbirds team that put on a lot of pressure, flustered that Sheridan team, only mastered, I do believe, 29 points in total in 4 quarters this past, at least Saturday, where, if you could put the pressure on, again, where LCCC is good at doing that, get the steals and kind of frustrate that Lady Generals team, you got to feel pretty confident that you can come away with the quote-unquote kind of upset victory up there in Sheridan.
Yeah, that's something that we did really well in our last matchup against them. I think we forced them into 20-some-plus turnovers. So for us, again, if we can stay committed to our defensive responsibilities, put Sheridan kind of in bad positions and speed them up, it should allow us to hopefully have some of those opportunities to turn them over and then also get those easy points.
Couple things I have for you here real quick. First off, let's take a look at the matchup itself. Again, I look back on that last contest of the Tartar youngster. She had an off day, but the Oka kid that comes off the bench, and she's a load, and she likes to sit outside the arc. Cynthia Green, she's underneath the basket. She's kind of like their aircraft carrier underneath. Emma Cheatham, I'm going to throw out another name there. He's got some good interchangeable parts that actually he's got a very good bench.
Yeah, they, when they came down here last time, they got some points from Bartlett. They got some points from Cheatham. Players that typically don't give them a ton of points. So, again, Green was a little off when she came and played here. The Roush kid didn't have her best game of the season. And then, again, I'm forgetting the one, 31. Tartar that you just mentioned. They all, again, when we went up to Sheridan, had pretty decent games. They came down here, didn't play quite as well. So, again, for us, regardless of which ones they have going, even with their bench, we've got to make sure that we can limit their drives, keep them off the free throw line. They've shot over 40 free throws the last 2 games against us, so we've got to keep them off the line. And again, they're going to get up a lot of threes. They're going to shoot between 25, 35 threes. And so, again, you've got to be able to get out and contest those shots. And like I said, it's one of the big keys, and I heard Ryan talking about it too, is you've got to be able to find extra possessions, especially in games like this where they're 50-50, whether it's creating some turnovers or getting some offensive rebounds. So for us, it's going to be important to limit those opportunities. If we can keep them off the boards when they're shooting those threes, it should hopefully play to our advantage.
Here we are in the postseason, where let's look back at the regular season. And
I'll get to my other thought here in a minute.
Well, again, we'll look at North Divisional play there for LCCC, and again, we got the thoughts from Coach Ficca. We'll get yours, Coach, of just your thoughts of just how competitive it was this season, matching against, from top to bottom, where we saw what happened with Central Wyoming, the team that was at the bottom, taking care of business on the road against LCCC, the final regular season game. You guys able to at least pull off the upset against Casper College, upsetting them here in the RAC. Just talk about how competitive it was top to bottom this season in this division.
I think the one thing that really sticks out to me is really some of the elite players that we have in our league this year, between S.C. Letu, Kobe King, Huea, who's from Gillette. Casper's got several players that kind of fit into that category. And I mean, you can even look at a team like Northwest, where they have the Worrell kid and Smutna, and kids that are in the top 5 in terms of scoring in our league, and they're finishing in the bottom 2. So, teams, I would say with our league, everybody looked like they got a lot bigger across the board in terms of the 3, 4, 5 position. Again, the international game still playing a big influence on our side as well in terms of some of the best players from being overseas. But I think it really speaks to the strength of our league. If you look at a lot of our, the teams that have been ranked or receiving votes, and just how competitive. And again, we haven't been ranked this year, but we've been able to pull off top 25 upsets. So I think, again, it just really speaks to the depth of our league, that we have as much competition as we do have.
I mentioned this, and I'm sure you've heard it in my voice too, if you've had a chance to listen to our broadcast, the frustration with our point play. And again, you've gone through this most of the season, and again, we're still committing turnovers that should not happen. And again, we're too late in the season. Obviously, now we're 0-0. We got to be on our best behavior, so to speak. Working the point this week. How again, you've got a couple of sophomores. I don't know if they're capable of doing it. I don't know how much work you've worked with your freshmen, but obviously they're the key to this ball game. They've got to get the ball down the court.
Yeah, we've obviously we've seen the press from Sheridan twice, so it's something that we've taken a look at this week to make sure that we're ready for it. So obviously the first key is passing through the press, making sure that you're not trying to over dribble and dribble into traps. But we do need them to step up here in the playoffs. It's again, it's that time of the year where they should be in a good rhythm. They should be able to get us into our offense. We want to see them be a little more aggressive off the top. Again, it's something that we've talked about throughout this week, is being able to break people down off the dribble, as opposed to always having essentially our wings have to do it, which, you see Haley getting into the paint. You see Saraven getting into the paint off the drive. So we've got to have a little bit more aggressiveness from our point guards, whether it be Jimena or Anna or Carly, whoever it may be. So if we can get them playing a little more aggressive, for us in the half court, and then again just being very patient against the press and making the smart play, we should be okay.
The postseason started up at least this Saturday. Again, the game that we will have live here on 1480 KRAE, LCCC at Sheridan at the Golden Dome. That is a 2 o'clock tip-off time this Saturday. Again, a game that we will have live here on 1480 KRAE. Winner of that contest moving on to the quarterfinals to await the number 2 nationally ranked Western Nebraska Lady Cougars. So get a fun one to at least move on in that quarterfinals. But for you, Coach, going back to recapping the regular season, where I posted it at least about a month or so ago, about the history making that LCCC is done this season. Again, we've seen it every single season, but especially this year of where you broke a winning streak. Again, at least a record on that one. Most points scored in a contest against the CSU club team here in town. Also, two top 25 wins, whether it was a neutral site in Yuma, Arizona against Midland, or here at home at the RAC against Casper College at that time. Just talk about this season, how special it was, though, again, for LCCC, of those kind of first-time moments once again in this program's history.
Yeah, for us, obviously, we're still going to be shooting for that 20 wins, but we've done some really significant things for the program this year. And again, I'm proud of the girls in terms of what we've accomplished in some of those big wins that we've had for our program, winning streaks throughout the season. And again, it's not necessarily so far the way that we wanted to finish down this last week and a half stretch of the regular season. So hopefully we can kind of bounce back and get that momentum going here, obviously this weekend against Sheridan into the playoffs. But we have that ability and, to really pull out some big wins and play well. So, again, there's, like I said, I don't want to dismiss the season. I mean, we've had some really, really great moments with this team. Again, it would have been nice to keep that consistency down the stretch, so we weren't necessarily dragging into the playoffs, and instead we would have had that momentum really on our side.
The obvious answer is, hey, don't want to lose. But what is the major concern from you as the head coach? Whether it's butterflies in the stomach or not. I mean, going into Saturday's game, what is your major concern?
We got to take care of the ball. That's kind of been the theme with us is when we get in those stretches where we struggle on offense, it's generally because we're getting really sloppy with our passes. We start taking bad shots. And what that allows the other team to do then is either get easy layups off the steal or, again, off a bad shot. Generally, it's going to be some kind of a 3-on-2, 4-on-2 type situation where they're pushing the ball in transition. So we've got to be really, really good with our possessions in the half court and making sure that we're taking good shots and working better offensively instead of rushing things. So for us, it's taking care of the basketball. When we've been that team that has been under 14, 15 turnovers, that's generally been the games where we score 70, 75, 80 points. When we have that 20 to 25 turnovers, that's generally the game where you see us lose 70 to 60 and, we're having trouble getting points up and we're not getting those shots up.
The one thing, too, that's very critical in your game this Saturday is, and both of them, matter of fact, I think we might have lost all three of them up there at Sheridan due to fouling out. You got to keep your sophomores on the floor. I mean, I think it is so critical that Jakia is there, whether she's in the 4 or the 5. You need Haley on the floor at least of that 40 minutes. She's going to have to be at least 3/4 of the time. And Saraven gets in early foul trouble, and that's what really kind of hurts the ball club. But your sophomores definitely have to be stepped up.
Let's also mention, though, again, at least some of those fouls up there in the Golden Dome were questionable.
It don't matter. The point is, though, these sophomores definitely, with their leadership, need to be on the floor for you this Saturday.
They do. They've played a significant role offensively, defensively for us. So, we're going to have them on the floor. That's something that when we went up there last time, all three of them fouled out there. I want to say 2 of them pretty early in the third quarter or early in the fourth quarter, and then we had kind of one foul out there right at the end of the game. So, for us, in terms of some scoring and some rebounding, and then, like I said, their presence on defense, it's going to be really important to keep them on the floor. So, for them, it's not picking up those cheap ones, the over-the-back call, the foul 90 feet away from the basket when they're trying to reach in after the other team clears the defensive rebound. It's keeping yourself out of those situations so you're not picking up that, that second, third, or fourth one that you didn't need. So, again, it's something that we'll probably talk about before the game, just playing smart. Again, it's something that we've talked about all week is keeping your hands back, sliding your feet on defense, and and then you got to play smart. I mean, if you don't want to foul out of your last game and have to sit there watching it from the bench, they're going to have to make sure that they play smart and keep themselves out of foul trouble.
How critical is Abby Giroux to this ball game? Because again, we've seen the improvement in Jakia. All of a sudden, she's the defense has picked up offense. She's dropping in a few points for us. Haley's going to be consistent. You're going to get your points from Saraven. Abby, we saw a really good performance from her against Central this past Saturday. How important is she going to be for you?
Very. She obviously gives us a nice size advantage against Sheridan. The first go-around, she didn't play very well against them up there. When we came home, she was able to get better looks. We were able to get her more involved around the basket. And then just, again, from a shot blocking and rebounding perspective, we're going to need her to have a big game. So, obviously, for us, we're going to have to find ways to get her on the court longer against Sheridan, and hopefully she's going to have that big impact for us.
Final thought for me, for you, Coach. I can appreciate you joining us here today to talk about the upcoming contest against Saturday, 2 o'clock up there at the Golden Dome, a game that we will have here on 1480 KRAE. It's the first round playoffs. Number 5 seed out of the North, LCCC, taking on the number 4 seed out of the North, Sheridan College. Again, start time at 2 o'clock this Saturday. But, still games on the slate, on the schedule for LCCC. But looking at past, or at least postseason for LCCC, Coach Ficca alluded to what his kind of goals, or at least what he's kind of looking to on the recruiting trail for next season's squad. Want to get your thoughts on what you learned from this season and previous seasons. What's kind of on the target for you to bring in talent to LCCC to play for 2020, 2021?
Sure. We have a big freshman class, so for them it's gonna be big to be in that development phase this offseason. Our point guards are gonna have to get better with their offhand. We're gonna need to get stronger, get in the weight room again, and really hit it hard there to get just a little tougher, a little stronger. But I think, again, from a recruiting class standpoint, we signed a post early in the fall, and then we also have Riggin McInerney coming from Thunder Basin. So again, that. We didn't have a lot of spots to fill. That already puts us at 12 at this point. So really for us now, it's finding that kind of that transcendent player that could be an all-region, at the top type player. So for us, it's really being patient in the recruiting process and really evaluating things and finding somebody that's going to be that surefire, D1 type player that's, that all the schools are going to be looking at coming out of here from LCCC. So, again, for us, it's going to be really heavy on development, getting in the weight room for our returners, and then on the recruiting front, it's finding that 1 or 2 players that's going to really take this to the next level.
Do you also, and Coach Ficca mentioned this too, with your freshmen, do you get them back in the gym in spring and basically like practice again?
Well, we're going to have that limited 8 hours. So, again, we'll have to kind of sit down and look and see what's going to be the most important piece for us, whether we really think it's just getting bigger and stronger and getting in the weight room. Obviously, the skill development piece for us is going to be big in terms of ball handling and making better decisions with our passing. So there's going to be kind of a balance between the two. But, we'll still do some open gyms. We'll still do some teamwork in terms of getting them into a flow and into a rhythm. Again, they get that long summer. So a lot of that stuff, it's hard to keep that, like I said, that consistency when you have that 3-4 months off until they get back into school. So for us, it's really getting them prepped for the summer with the individual stuff and things that they need to work on so it carries on into the fall.
And at least I want to ask you, Coach, and you last season kind of held off after the season was at least kaput, but I'll still ask it for this season where we're already at least seeing the announcements for all region team, all defensive team. Again, any announcements by chance of LCCC where we had a few representatives of the Lady Golden Eagles get on Region 9 all teams. This season, any representatives on any teams by chance?
We ended up placing Abby Garreau on the all defensive team. And for all region, we did not end up with a player on the all region team. Haley Anderson, I believe, in voting ended up 12th. So we were close, but again, it's nice that we did get Abby on the all defensive team. She was top 5 in the league in defensive rebounding and blocks per game. So very well deserving of that honor. So again, it's kind of interesting to see always how those things break down, but very proud that we were able to get Abby on the all defensive team.
Coach, we wish you all the best. We will see you tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll see Saturday afternoon up in Sheridan. Again, it will be the Lady Generals and the Lady Golden Eagles. Our pregame show 1:40, tap time 2 p.m. from Sheridan, Wyoming, from the Bruce Hoffman Golden Dome. Well, we're going to wrap things up here. Our LCCC Coaches Show brought to you today by Laramie